Hi, I'm Neil Hermes and welcome to my weekly bird wrap, where I have three stories for you this week. One about, do birds communicate to one another? Another one about a great story where rural farmers have actually re-established large areas of woodlands on their property and brought back a lot of bird species in Australia. And the last one is about the evolution of bird species and how mountaintops are important in that process. Hi, I'm Neil Hermes and welcome to my weekly bird wrap. First story I'm going to talk to today is a little bit of a complex one. It's about do birds communicate? Now we know that birds sing and we know that they have songs for various things, but do they communicate in the same sense that humans communicate? Humans can use words to express various meanings, and babies learn the languages of their parents very quickly and can learn more words and more meanings for things as they get older. This is quite unusual in the animal world. I mean, the closest relatives to humans, like the great apes and the monkeys, they don't have the specialized vocal cords to be able to do that. So they don't have complex language or complex communication like humans do. There are some groups of animals that do. Dolphins and bats have quite sophisticated communication, but the standout amongst the animal world in terms of communicating are the birds. They have, especially the songbirds, they have amazing vocal cords and can produce a whole range of different sounds. But is this language? That's the question that scientists have been asking. Birds can mimic human language. They can have word calls and songs that mean things to other birds. But where is the boundary between what is language and what is communication? And that's been a study that some scientists have put their minds to. There are some species of birds that will communicate a message to a young bird, a youngster of its own, and then like some babblers, and encourage them, say, to leave the nest. And if a youngster hasn't left, they'll come back and say the same thing to the last bird to encourage them to lead. Is that a form of communication? Is that language? These are things that are still being tested, and it's a difficult area in which to do research. And while we're talking about bird call, you may be able to hear the pardalote just calling in the tree above me. But there's more research going into this to try and work out what language really means, what communication means, and can birds teach us anything about that subject. My second story today is about rural landholders in southern New South Wales, who over the last 30 years have been planting back trees on their properties to bring species back that were removed when large amounts of clearing occurred 50, 100 years ago. These projects have been going on since Landcare started, and I sent a shout out to Landcare. It started in the 1980s. It was an initiative of Bob Hawke, and what it's done is it's encouraged many farm landholders all around Australia to actually revegetate and re-establish wetlands, etc., on their properties. And just in the last couple of weeks, there's been some stories that have come from places around Albury and Howlong in southern New South Wales, where property owners like the Frankenbergs have re-established trees on their properties to the extent that 25% of their properties are now vegetated, which of course protects the soil and it protects the sort of microclimates on the property, which may actually increase the amount of production the farm can have, but it also increases the amount of biodiversity, particularly birds, and species that haven't been seen in these regions for many years are now starting to come back. Lots of wood swallows, whitefaces, brown tree creepers can all inhabit these remnant woodland areas on these properties. So my last story today is about where new species of birds occur. And it turns out that mountaintops and islands are the places where new species occur. Bird species only last perhaps about 1 million years or thereabouts. Things evolve, new species come along. Bird species aren't something that we have forever. And new species are constantly being created. Over the last 2 million years, as the Earth has gone through many warming periods, it's the tops of the mountains and the tops of islands have been the key drivers of new species of birds. So as the lowlands dry out and the birds need to move up the mountain to stay in wet forest, the highest level of diversity occurs the higher up the mountain you go within the same species. So that's we're starting to learn about how speciation occurs by looking at the genetics of species that occur in islands and the tops of mountains. And it's often said that, the tops of mountains and islands are evolutionary dead ends for species, because in the end the climate will change and that location won't be suitable and you can't move to another area. So it's a plus and a minus when you evolve as a new bird species on the top of a mountain. But it's interesting research that's being done now, and it works off the back of the biogeography studies that have been done over 100 years or more. We can now actually work out the exact genetics of these birds on all these mountaintops and all these islands. Fascinating research, and I think we'll find some more interesting things come out of that particular work in the next few years. That's all I have for you for my wrap this week. Hope you enjoyed it. Please send me messages in about stories you'd like me to run. I love getting stories and feedback from people who see this YouTube channel and letting me know what they enjoy. Check out the rest of the website and see what else there is of interest to you. Come along on one of my trips. I do regular monthly trips, bird watching, and more extensive trips as well. So check it all out on the website. Send me some messages through to Ask Neil. And thanks for watching, and happy birding.